The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
This is Africa Diaspora Connect.
Join us as we take the journey from the motherland to America.
We share our experiences and learn from them.
Here is our host, Kibathi Gaturu.
Welcome back, family. Welcome back, Africa Diaspora Connect, for part 2 of Mary Muchina's life. She will walk us through everything that came after her wedding day. And part 1, we covered a lot of stuff. We covered at 9 years old, going through that pain of being raped. We covered her young adulthood up until she was almost 20. What she went through, rebelling, going through a psychiatrist, being promiscuous, trying to find a way to mask her pain, to a point where at the tender age of 22, her physician told her she doesn't have a big window for her to have children. And so here we're going to run into the next phase of her rushing into having kids. But before we do that, I love to eat. I love eating. Yes, Acacia Grill, we're back. Acacia Grill, yes, and they do give discounts if you go there enough. Like me, I go there a lot, so I get some good discounts. So you know where they are. This couple, Peter and his lovely wife, Penina, started this business a few years ago, and they love how to cook. They love that creativity, the home-style Kenyan etiquette of just fine meals, you know. It's you order in advance. That's what I like about Acacia. I order in advance, half hour in advance from my phone. By the time I get there, my meal is ready for me. Sumptuous. On Friday, samaki. Unapenda samaki?
Samaki na ugali.
Samaki na ugali nakwambia.
Yep.
So guys, listen, that's my spot, Acacia Grill. I'll tell you right now. And come in summertime, like now it's summertime, you have an occasion. These guys do some serious catering. So catering up the wazoo, anything, you know, graduation, we're past through the graduation season. Listen, those of you that are getting married, call Acacia Grill. Call these folks, I'm telling you. They're open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday, 1105 West Bolson Street, Worcester. Have you been to Worcester yet?
No, not yet.
Kuja Worcester tukupeleke hapo, 774-243-1016. Subscribers, come on now. Subscribers, we're in year 2. Yes, you're feeling the flavor right here. I'm your host with the mostest. Kibathi Gaturu. Come on now. You know where to find us. You know, listen to your podcast. Come on, we're each and every place. So come on, let's make this grow. We've got content. We've got content. Today, we're going to go to the phase now. Her phase to date. So Kavura, I'm going to let you run with this. I'm going to really let you tell your story, because everyone from last week has been waiting for part 2. It was too short. Come on, we want to hear more, Kibathi. So today now, run with it. You're just getting married. You're just getting your first baby. Walk us through this next phase in your life and tell us what you want to tell us and why we're here today.
Okay, so thank you for having me here again.
Yeah.
Again, let me just remind the viewers and everyone else that this is my story according from my lens, from my eyes. I'm not a guru. I'm not a psychiatrist, but this is a story from how I view things. Having said that, at 20-something, I started dating this guy, and at 24, we got our first baby. So we moved in together, we got married and all that good stuff, and when my baby was about 7 months, I realized that the guy was cheating on me. That was the first I realized that.
What are the signs? What are the signs?
The signs were actually I could see the text, and he could smell of a different perfume than mine, and
Okay.
I could just tell.
Yeah.
And so at some point I looked at his emails and Facebook and all that, and it was there in black and white. I was running a small business then, and I remember getting arrested in the business and asking him to come get me, and he wasn't cooperative, and that's when I knew, you know what, he's really committed to this other relationship, because I found out and I did not ask.
My audience right now would like to know. I know they would. What were you arrested? What happened?
License
license.
for
Okay.
my business
Okay.
then,
Okay.
and it's in Kenya that happens a lot.
A lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, of course, it's something that I had it covered within a matter of hours, but him not being there
Exactly. Yeah.
made me realize that, you know what, he's emotionally invested in this other relationship. Note that I hadn't talked to him about it, because in my head, cheating is not a big deal. Just as long as he's not emotionally attached.
Were you in love with this man?
I don't know what a definition of love is.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know yet.
No, I'm here. I'm listening.
I'm still finding out. I'm
right.
still trying to find out what that means, what
Okay.
that word means.
All right.
But I love the world, just so you know.
Okay.
Yes. So,
So your kid is 7 months old.
yes, my kid is 7
Is it a
months
boy or
old.
girl, if I may ask?
It's a boy.
Okay.
It's a boy.
7 months.
Who, at this time, I was going through postpartum depression already, because, like I said, I still did not know the meaning of love. And I cannot.
Educate me. Postpartum. I thought postpartum is around childbirth, the first something of that nature, first few weeks. You can have it that long.
You can have it that long.
Whoa.
You can have it that long.
Whoa.
Remember, I had already stress before
Absolutely.
this relationship.
Yeah.
So my mind has already registered that.
Okay.
And now I'm going through another different kind of stress. So it's trying to relate to the previous one and what's here, and I don't know how to function, and I don't know how to process it. And postpartum depression came in.
Understood.
And what really saved me then is I was really close with a few doctors, and we used to talk, and they told me this is postpartum depression. And I don't know how I got out of it, honestly, but I learned to love my son.
So your son became your go-to. Your son
Yes.
became your little teddy bear to cuddle and just express yourself to.
Yes. And very many times I found myself crying and holding him and saying, don't worry, you and I are going to be okay. Don't worry, you and I are going to be okay. Because at the back of my mind, remember, I have no reference in my brain telling me that this is love, this is what I'm looking for. And the relationship between my dad and mom wasn't perfect.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
My dad was an alcoholic. I used to see him beat my mom, throw plates at her, and all this. And to me, that's my first relationship reference
To all
in
of
my
us.
brain.
To all of us
Exactly.
as kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Your first frame of reference.
So when I expected him, I went into this relationship actually expecting him to cheat. So it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
So I asked him, "Do you want a second wife?"
Oh wow.
Like I
Okay.
was okay. I was okay with it. And he was like, "No, I don't want a second wife. I don't want this. I don't want that." And that's where the violence started.
So he's saying, I don't want a second wife. You're my one and only. Then all of a sudden he starts to beat you up.
Yes. All of a sudden, he starts to beat me up, and for no apparent reason. Like I would be at home, I would come home late from work, and if I found him there, it's he would smack me. Like, where have you been? He started calling me names. There's no name in the book I haven't been called. But to him, he thought every time I was outside, I was with other men. And it got to a point I could not balance being in the business, having this baby, and being in a relationship.
Okay.
Because In a business, that means you choose your hours.
That's true.
In a business, that means you kind of had to travel quite a bit to get your products.
Okay.
And he was not having that. So one had to give. So me being the logic person I am, I closed down the business and got employed somewhere. Which was not I'm a very entrepreneurial person, and that did not make me happy. It felt like I was cocooning myself. It felt like I'm doing things because of everybody else, but not myself. So I was employed for a couple of years, still enduring the physical abuse, the mental abuse, and I cannot tell you the number of times I went to work with black eyes and a hand in pain or something.
Who are you confiding with? Is your mother in your life? Are you talking to someone? Who are you confiding with?
The first time I went to my mom and told her, Mom, so and so beat me up. My mom asked me, what you do?
What did you do?
Girl, what did you do? Because he's a typical narcissist. He's gonna paint a picture to everyone else. And I'm telling you, he was the best man in public. He's the kind of man who opened doors for me. And, he's gonna buy whatever it takes just to show that, I'm taking care of my wife. However, in closed doors,
Behind closed doors, yeah.
oh my goodness, it was something else. So
Jekyll and Hyde, he just changed into this creature.
yes. And first time going to my mom, she said that, and to me, it pulled me back. I'm like,
Whoa.
Ma, I was coming to you because I was crying.
Yeah.
I wanted you to give me a hug and tell me it's going to be okay. And since then, I haven't found a place where I can just be. I don't, because at times women don't even need someone to say anything, just be there, let us talk. Because that's how our brains are wired. A problem shared is a problem half solved. And the society, Kenyan society,
African
society, yeah, doesn't really embrace that. Because for starters, initially, this stuff did not happen a lot. So even they were not taught how to take care of it. There are no perimeters under which they were told, if this happens, you could do this, And I do not blame my mother for doing that, because I know for sure she did not know how to respond.
She did not know any better.
She did not know any better.
Speaking to Anne, the official Anne, the young lady who's been through life, and the first thing as an outsider looking in, we ask is, why do you stay? Why do you stay? Why do you stay? Why do you endure this? And she flatly told me, for my kids and the glamour, she lived the life. The guy that she was dating he had it all. And so she figured, hey, maybe I can endure. Maybe it's gonna stop. I mean, I got it all. Why did you endure? Why did you stay? And kept on, because we're gonna talk about having another kid, right?
Yes,
Because you had another kid.
yes.
Yeah. So tell us, why do you stay? Why do women stay? Why did you stay?
Because in my head, that's what I was taught. That's my reference point in my brain was, I saw my mom go through hell and back, and she stayed. So where am I going? What am I'm not gonna fight. All I saw from my mom was a fighter. So I had to be my mother's daughter.
Okay.
I had to fight. And here are kids, and at the back of my head, I knew it's okay to be a single mother, but I kept thinking, what are people going to say about my mom? Not even me.
Your mom.
My mom. I have this sense of wanting to protect her so much, because I had been unwell for so many years, and she was the only constant for me.
Okay.
So I saw the pain and the sorrow she was going through when she felt she couldn't help. And subconsciously, I thought I should protect my mom now. So that's the main reason why I said I should protect my mom from the society, from her friends, from everything else.
Wow.
And so to me, when I was asking this man if you want a second wife, I actually meant it. I was like, men do that, men cheat. As long as he can come home and be with the kids, I know things are gonna be okay.
Wow.
But not knowing that that's not right, you know,
Yeah.
not knowing that I deserve better because I'm not used to matter. Like a woman, a Kenyan woman, really, we don't matter. It doesn't matter what you want, what you need, it doesn't really matter. That's not how we're brought up.
That's a stigma we need to overcome.
Exactly. And so when I got, so many times my sister came to rescue me. So many times I went to the hospital, even told my physician that, listen, I know what I'm going through. Could you please talk to my husband and just tell him to stop stressing me out?
Yeah.
And he got to a point, he said, Mary, you have to do better.
Yeah.
That's all he said. You have to do better.
What does that mean? You have to do better.
Like, that's all he said. You know, a person cannot tell you, get out of your marriage. Smart person will never tell you that.
I would.
Well, that's not smart.
But listen, if you're my sister and you're getting beat up every day, I'm like, girl, no, that to me is the most logical thing. If I'm close to you and you're my friend, I would tell you that.
Then what if things go south and I come tell you, Kibathi, if it's not for you, I will still be in my marriage.
But-
That's what we're avoiding.
Okay, I get it. You're the one who went through it though. But the way my lens is it worth getting the black eyes? Is it worth the bandages and whatever? Is it worth the anguish? Is it worth it all? You know, that's my perspective. That's just me. You know, that would me be coming from a good place. Oh yeah. But that's just my 2 cents though.
The best thing you can do for a woman in a violent situation or in an emotional abusive relationship, the best thing you can do to them is give them options, but not tell them get out. Because if they're not already here, they're not going to leave. It took me a serious, intense emotional breakdown for 3 years before I actually got out. I had to be ready here. And then I left here being physically in the relationship.
You left, so you mentally got detached. Wait a minute, just say that again.
Yes.
And
then I physically left.
okay, got it. Now, before you left, you have another kid. Another kid comes along.
Another kid comes along. No. Let me tell you this.
Okay.
When the firstborn is about 2 years, I get pregnant for another baby. And I get so excited and all this. And this guy, we just moved into a nice, really beautiful apartment that I liked, away from people. That's what I wanted. And one night he comes home drunk, like really drunk.
Okay.
And I'm yay pregnant. And I'm in a lingerie and all that. And guess what?
What?
He drags me out of bed, kicks me, throws me from the stairs, and throws me down. I'm like, oh my God.
You're how many months pregnant again?
I'm about 5 months pregnant. And that gave me a phobia to sleep with someone.
A phobia to sleep with someone. What do you mean exactly?
Yes. Like, even if it's my sister next to me on my bed, I'm not going to sleep.
Okay.
Because I do not know what this person is going to do when I close my eyes and rest.
Understood. All right.
So there goes my trust. There goes my sleep. And I'm still crying every now and then.
You'd have easily lost the baby too.
I did.
What?
I did. I lost 4 babies within that marriage. But this particular one, why it really is close to my heart is because it was already 5 months old. It was a baby girl. And when I went to the hospital, I it was the fetus, the heartbeat was really slow, and they had me come back the following day, and I had to be induced. I had to give birth. All this I was doing, and he wasn't next to me because in his head he thinks I'm terminating the pregnancy. I'm like, no, there's something wrong. I'm not trying to get rid of it. There's something wrong. And so I went to Kenyatta Hospital, and I literally was induced and I gave birth. And you should have seen how I broke down when I saw the baby because she was half blue.
And what does that mean when the baby's half blue?
That means they didn't have enough
Oxygen.
oxygen, and they died. One part of it actually was dead before we came out. So it was there for a while. So guess what?
What?
As if that wasn't enough trauma,
Oh.
they had to clean me up. And boy, that was painful.
All right, so Kavuda, you've been through four what do we call them? You've lost four miscarriages
Yes.
based on violence.
Yes. Yes.
In a span of how many years?
In a span of about 7 years.
Okay. All right, tell your story.
So when I got pregnant with this last baby, one day he beat me up because I came home late, and he knew very well. This guy had a driver, had 2 cars, had a driver, and I had to travel outside town. And I told him, listen, I really need to do some documentation, da 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 da. Could I take your driver? Could your driver drop me there? We sign. And he said, no, you're not using my car. No way. I said, okay, so I'm going to use public transport, which would take me twice the amount of time. And for that reason, I came back home late. I was beaten. I was kicked to a point. And then I actually slept on the floor because I couldn't crawl up on my bed. And remember, this is the same bed he's sleeping on. And unfortunately, my son, the older one, came and found me there in the morning because I was still in pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, I just tripped. Of course, I'm going to try and cover it up. Not once did I tell him that your dad beat me up.
But he can hear it. He hears it.
Of course
all the
he
time.
hears it. Of course he sees it.
Yeah.
Until the lady who was helping me raise them, she now started creating stories and telling me what she said to the kid so that I do not say something different. We're trying to cover it up. We're trying to protect my husband. He's the man of the house. So I'm still trying to make the image look appropriate.
Yeah.
But even though I can see the child is seeing, I still try to protect him. And this particular morning, I couldn't shower. When I got off the ground, I was in so much pain. And guess what? That's how my baby came.
The baby came early.
The baby came early.
How early? Premature, preemie.
A month.
Okay.
A month early. And I went to the hospital. I asked him again, can I go to the hospital with a driver? I was like, nope.
You're going to give birth to his child? Or you okay.
Yes.
And he wouldn't even give you rides?
Still wouldn't do that.
All
so
right.
I got a cab. To the hospital. And literally when I got there, I was already doing business with a group of gynecologists. So I knew a couple very well. So I called when I was on my way to the hospital. And they were all shocked. They're like, why? It's early. Why? What's wrong with you? But when I got there, I just gave them my phone. I gave that particular doctor because he knew. He had seen my black eyes as we were talking, as we were doing shows, because I used to do shows for women.
Yes,
then.
I've seen that.
And he was one of the people who was trying to cover up my eyes and all that. So he knew. And I gave him the phone. And I don't know what happened because it had to be a CS because of all the drama. I wasn't even strong enough to push or anything.
C-section.
And
Okay.
yeah, and that's how my second baby came to the
Boy,
world.
boy or girl?
Boy.
2 boys.
So I got 2 boys.
Okay.
And
How many years apart?
4
4 years apart.
4 years apart.
Okay.
And that's it. That's how it went. And my baby, the small one, as he was growing, it was so bad. I'm trying to fast forward here. There was a time he fell from the balcony, like 2 floors up to a cabro balcony. That wasn't even funny. And not naming names, I know the person who did it.
Someone threw your baby out the window?
Yes.
Was it your husband?
Like I said, no saying names, but I know the person who did it. But I was being told that it was my fault. And the story stuck that it was my fault. And I wasn't even close to the balcony. I wasn't even close to the baby. And I stayed in the ICU for a good 4 days, which were the longest days in my life, because I was trying to balance being in the ICU and trying to tell the other older baby that it's going to be okay. So I had to wait for somebody to come, sit with my baby as I go home and try and tell the other big boy that everything is going to be okay. Mommy's fine. And my eyes were swollen and in pain. And, it was just a circus. It was a total circus.
And once again, I'm so glad you're opening up, you're telling your story, and you're calling it out there. And for all you women out there who are in a similar situation, let's heed to what's going on here. Let's heed. So when was enough for you? When was enough enough?
Enough was enough for me when I realized that I had put a knife under my pillow and I was ready to stop this guy. I was doing counseling back at home, and there was this lady who was my client who actually stabbed the husband 8 times and called the cops on herself. And I was seeing her that time, and to me in my head, I was like, I've had it. This is it. I want to kill him. I just cannot deal. And I remember praying that, God, I want out, whether it's dead out, whether it's I'm alive or dead, but I gotta get out somehow. And that's when I called my mom and told her, Mom, I cannot do this anymore. I really cannot do this anymore. And my mom knew when I say I'm done with something, I'm actually done. And I started looking for a way out. I did not know where to go because I knew if I went to my mom's house, this guy would follow me and it will be me and my mom in problems. Because this guy has the potential of making a mountain out of, an anthill, And so going to my mom's house was not even an option. So
And 911, whatever, 999 police in Kenya, that's not even an option. You cannot call, you can't even dare.
Oh my God. I went to the police station. This guy has been arrested once and he pays off every single person. I went to courts in Kenya.
Oh
and
man. But
this guy paid
if you
off.
dared stab him, they would have whisked you out in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
All right, guys, this is getting out of hand. You know what? I'm listening to the story. I'm getting kind of heated up over here. This has got to change. This stigma's got to change. And Kavura, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. And we need to really step up and figure out how do we change this stigma. Okay? This all happened in the motherland. I know we're in the diaspora now, but it's got to change. And we have viewership in Africa as well, in Kenya. I see the viewership out there, folks. Ladies out there, let's listen and let's figure out how the hell do we get out of this. And men, come on now. But like I said, I'll say it again to you, Kavura. I would insisted even then, you'd have hated me, but I'm like, girl, you're leaving this relationship. And I would have stood by you as a brother, as a friend. Even if it was premature, even if you weren't ready for it, I would have spoken my piece. We're going to have another session coming up, folks. We're going to tell this story. It's not over yet. And I am frenzied right about now. You're going to tell us what the future holds. Where exactly are you looking now to take this message? Okay? And how can we change this level of thinking? How to put an end to domestic violence It's a Me Too movement in of itself that's not spoken about. We as Africans, let's wake up. Let's smell the coffee. Thank you so much, viewership. Thank you for listening for these 30 minutes. Thank you for staying tuned. Africa Diaspora Connect coming at you for round 3. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kavura. Thank you, Muno.
Thank you. Thank you, Kibathi, for having me.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.